Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Y'all, we got to talk about, I know you already heard about it, Diddy's former judge recusing himself. There is a new judge on the docket. Why that is not boding well for Diddy at all. On top of that, this new judge is not playing at all. They just filed a protective order against Diddy, his lawyers, and whatever else, because at the end of the day, the new judge is not playing with Diddy, and he wants to make sure that none of this mess ends up on social media. You guys, we have so much to talk about. We're also going to talk about why the old judge on Diddy's case actually recused himself. He recused himself suddenly. Now, there are different reasons for why he might have recused himself, okay? Some people say, oh, it's because he mentioned, no. Commonly, there is a conflict of interest because his wife, I think, works for JP Mellon or JP Morgan. She works for some huge bank. People are saying that he had to recuse himself because of conflict of interest. What is the conflict of interest? Well, we got to go back to Little Rod's lawsuit. We got to go back to the money laundering charges. We have to go back to the charges of what happened in Belize, Diddy's connection to Shine. I know this sounds like a lot, but we're going to break all this down. Diddy's connection to the cartel, alleged money laundering, and all that stuff. Again, the way the blank workers were paid, wire transfers, overseas. They were paid via Cash App, Venmo. Let's also not forget the Uber rides that were hooked up to this. Diddy's Schmeck's trafficking operation definitely ran through the bank with the money laundering. But what's more, the investments. This goes to Wingstop. I know, that's what I said, Wingstop, not the lemon pepper rings, not Rick Ross, not paying to be the boss. Yes, this goes to the heart of lemon pepper wings. I never thought in 2024 I would say that. This goes to the heart of lemon pepper wings. But all jokes aside, it does wrap into Diddy's investments, everything this mofo is about. Again, when money is laundered, if it's laundered, it has to go through a bank. Remember when Busby said there will be banks, there will be financial institutions, there will be so many people implicated? It looks like there is something going on. On top of that, there was a protective order that the feds actually filed against Diddy that basically said, fine, I have that. We'll go into it. We'll give you a little bit of information, but this cannot wind up on social media. What is the information? The information, it is linking him to people who have ties to underworld and who has ties to money laundering. Again, we're not implying at all that the judge's wife had anything to do with this. We are saying that if the money was moved through JP Morgan or Mellon Bank or whatever accounts, whatever bank that she works for, there is a conflict of interest because no bank wants to be caught up with anything remotely close to money laundering, especially if they have reason to believe that it wasn't. We saw, HSBC Bank. We saw Morgan Stanley. There have been so many banks lined up with that and that have paid serious buku fines, millions, even going into billions. Again, if there is something and that the bank was complicit, or even if it rolled through, you just don't want that type of publicity and you do need to recuse yourself. But let's get into everything from the beginning because I'm jumping over everything. You guys, if you don't know, Diddy's judge has magically quit. Sean Diddy Combs' federal criminal SMEX trafficking case has been assigned to a new judge. Now, when you say assigned, it makes you think that, they just, pulled out the wrong straw and they got Diddy stuff. No, the judge formally stepped back and he recused himself. Many people are wondering, why did that happen? What is going on? Now, some people got the more pedantic version of what's going on. So what do you want to, this is from the court transcript before he recused himself. So the court said, which is the judge, so what do you want to do at this point? Do you want to set a trial date? Do you want to? Because I don't know. Okay. Do you want time to review the discovery that's going to be produced? Do you want to come back in 45 days? Or do you want me to set a trial date? I can set a trial date if you want me to set a trial date. This is Mr. Agnofilio. I understand. The court, whatever you want. But if I can't try it, I'll find a colleague who can if you want to set a trial date. Okay. Now, if you guys don't know, this is before the judge recused. And people are saying, oh, they just recused because Diddy's lawyers want a speedy trial. If you guys don't know, there is a constitutional right for a speedy trial. It's usually saying that you will have your court date, I believe, within 3 months. Okay. And that because the court just can't keep you locked up forever. You have the right to move things along. You can waive the right to a speedy trial. What does that do? If you need more time building your defense, you waive it because you're like, I need more time. You gave me a bunch of evidence. What the government usually does when they get you, part of the reason why they always win, on top of having some of the best lawyers in the US, they literally dump a bunch of evidence on you. I mean, like when you're like, okay, I want to see the evidence, they might point you to a warehouse stacked top to bottom. I'm not even joking, with nothing but documents. And you have to go through those documents and find what's relevant or what's not relevant. Defense attorneys do that. Prosecution does it. It's a way that you kind of slow down the competition, baby. It's law. Nobody plays fair. That's why you hire the best lawyers you can, because this is their job to make sure that people are playing fair. I mean, it's legal, but you know what it is. So what they do is, instead of just handing over the evidence, like, okay, here you go, right? Here's the evidence I'm guilty, or here's the evidence you're innocent. They literally will direct you and make you search, make your lawyers look for it, make you wade through a bunch of paperwork. Oftentimes, discovery is some of the most expensive process of trial because they have to hire paralegals or legal document reviewers to literally go through every single piece of paper and figure out what's relevant, what's not relevant, what can help you, and what can hurt you. Okay, discovery is like a big thing, and cases are won or lost depending on discovery. Or if you, again, one of the reasons you might want you want to slow down a speedy trial is that they give you discovery that even if you hire 10 legal document reviewers working 8 or 12-hour days, it's still going to take you a month or two to get through all the documents they thrust on you. Again, it's a clever tactic that both sides use. Okay. To waive a speedy trial, to say, no, I want a speedy trial, is to say, how are you going to prepare for your defense? The government clearly has hundreds of hours of video. I do believe that they interviewed Little Rod. I do believe that whatever evidence Little Rod had, he held hand over to the investigation, to the federal prosecutors. Why? Because Little Rod's attorney did a press release months ago saying, I am going to hand over this information and see what the feds want to do with it. Little Rod claims to have hundreds of hours of video. Just that alone. Let's also not forget Diddy's people subpoenaed. Let me cook. I'm getting somewhere, okay? You need to know this to understand what's going on, right? Diddy's team is also aware, as are we, that the feds subpoenaed a hotel in Miami, which is believed to be the Mandarin Oriental, which was Diddy's freak off central. He also stayed at the One Hotel and the Fountain Blue Hotel in Miami. But the Mandarin Oriental, which is believed to be his freak off general, right? They subpoenaed hotel records back to 2008. They want room service receipts. They want this. They want that. They want footage. It's a mountain of evidence. Why do I say this? Is because, one, even though Diddy's people thought that they were like, haha, don't worry, we're going to outsmart the feds, it looks like he painted himself in a corner. This new judge being assigned, we have some information on him. It's not good. The good news that Diddy's team thinks he is. He is a young judge. His docket is not long. He has not filed that many cases, but I talked to some lawyers that have actually gone in front of that judge. And that's the thing. Looks can be deceiving. Seems like, oh, it's a young judge. We can push him around. He won't really know. They're saying that this judge does not play. He will sanction Diddy's team in a second. Okay. They said he is super smart. He is a brainiac. He is a judicial prodigy. Again, he's only about 40 years old, which for a federal judge is actually pretty young. But his career and the way he's on the money was so much, he easily got the appointment. They say he is super smart. Diddy's team will be sanctioned if they step out of line. Thing on top of that, unlike an older judge, he knows social media. He knows the games that are played. Sometimes you get a judge that the only social media they on is Facebook. This judge knows social media. He knows the games that are played. He pays attention to that. It's going to be very hard for Diddy's team to put out a separate dueling narrative. Now, why is that important? Keep that in your head, right? Again, let's get back to the judge. They say that he is a walking, let me look at my notes. They said this judge is a walking encyclopedia. That is the term that a few lawyers that have been in front of the judge have used, okay? They say they're going to try to play him because when you always want to push for a younger judge because you think they don't really know, experience comes with everything. This judge was born knowing this. They said, don't even try to play him. Yeah, he's only 40. He hasn't had that many years on the bench, but he is just as knowledgeable, if not even more knowledgeable than judges that have been on the bench since decades. He's also social media savvy. Okay, they said Diddy's team really needs to be worried about sanctions. The games Diddy's lawyers have been playing, the way they say one thing in court, one thing in the media, trying to turn it into circus, they need to be worried about this judge will sanction them in a second. They say that this, once again, is really questionable. And everybody in the legal circle I've talked to said the same thing. Who is paying for Diddy's lawyers? Because the lawyers he has are some of the worst lawyers. The moves that they're making seems like they're very, very bad decisions, okay? They said the speedy trial BS, right? Diddy needs time to mount a defense. I know that we're just hearing about the indictment, but Homeland Security investigations has been working forever. They took down El Chapo, baby. That Diddy, this is child's play to them, okay? The only reason they even arrested Diddy this early is because he was trying to tamper with witnesses, obstruct justice, everything else that they said, okay? They said the speedy trial is a mistake. Diddy needs time to mount a defense. Again, a lot of people think that the people that are paying for Diddy's legal want this rushed along. So Diddy doesn't have time to flip or talk. Now we have a little inside tea because they said Diddy is mad. Put 7 D's behind this. He is mad. He is angry. He is upset. And I hinted at this before, but they have confirmed Diddy was fine to be at the top of the pyramid. Why there were barnacles and, butt kissers like, oh, please, Captain Money, can I have some money? He was fine to be at the top of that pyramid. But now, again, this shows that Diddy, a coward with great power, you are the first to get the limelight, but you are also the first to fall. Diddy is mad that everybody's focused on him, and he wants to make sure that everybody that was under him goes down on him, Freudian slip. But I'm sure Diddy's like, yeah, that too, go down on me. But he wants to make sure that everybody that was underneath him goes down with the ship. Now, let's get back into this because I'm getting all over the place, but let me cook because I'm jumping ahead of the story, but let me get back into that speedy trial. Diddy doesn't have time to mount a defense. They said this is a long line of bad decisions. You do not go up against the federal government and the amount of evidence they have accumulated. They've been researching things for a year. They've been assembling evidence. I have to break it to people. It's more than 4 pages. It's more than 2 file boxes. This is the federal government, and they will bury you in evidence. It's one of the things they do to slow down defense teams. Most legal experts are saying that Diddy needs at least 3 months. He needs at least 3 months to more than 3 months, right? To even start, for his new attorneys to catch up, to go to the evidence. He has a new trial attorney. Now, interesting enough, the judge that was removed from the case was one of the very few, if not the only, no, there's other Black judges, but one of the very few Black judges in the Southern District of New York. They have been replaced by this. He's young. He is Indian American. He is a walking encyclopedia. Okay. Some people said jokingly, and this is just a little legal jokes, that Diddy having a Black judge was his last chance. Not that a Black judge would ever not prosecute wrongdoers, but there is something to be said of when you look at somebody and they look like your cousin, your uncle, your whatever, subconsciously, You might still throw the book at them, but even if just them being human to you even shaves a year off the sentence, that's a big thing when you're looking at spending the rest of your life in jail. Do you see what I'm saying? So I don't think the judge would have been biased, but a lot of legal professionals are saying that was your last chance at maybe anybody seeing you as human. Oddly enough, they're saying that Diddy's lawyers was actually pushing for a new judge after the judge got denied bail. After the judge denied him, the black judge denied him bail 2 times, they were already simmering about how can we get a new judge? How can we get a new judge? Now, you can play, pick-a-mole, whack-a-mole with a judge's schedule, but people are saying that they were pushing for and at least presenting it to Diddy. Yo, one of the good reasons for getting a speedy trial is if it doesn't fit on the judge's calendar, we can get a new judge. Plus, if we push on this conflict of interest, we can get a new judge by pointing out the conflict of interest. They thought about, because they know what banks Diddy moves money to. They know what banks Diddy moves money to. They thought about the banks. They are pretty certain that money laundering charges or RICO charges, right, with forfeiture are going to come into play. So money that could be in JP Morgan or Mellon, whatever bank the judge works for, let's pull this string. The judge will quietly but quickly recuse himself, because in a case this big, you can't have any look at impropriety, because they'll come back and they'll try to get a mistrial, or they'll come back and try to be like, oh no, blah, 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 right? So in the case of this thing, everybody wants to keep things above board on the government side. So the judge immediately, as soon as there was a whiff, oh, wait, this might go into money. This might go into the bank that my wife works at. To be clear, the judge's wife is not involved at all in any real or alleged money laundering. She works for a bank. She's high up on a bank, but you know how that is when it comes to money laundering. Any conflict of interest, if there's any tie to where you work at to the case your spouse is working on, it's a conflict of interest. Even if she worked at a car wash and Diddy took his car there every Sunday, and twice on Thursdays at the end of the month, he would still have to recuse himself as a conflict of interest. Or if he chose not to recuse himself, Diddy's team could make a big mess saying, no, 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 they know each other because of the car wash. You need to step down. You need to do this. So the judge decided that they were not going to give Diddy's team a chance to say, no, they were not going to give Diddy's team a chance to say, oh my God, this is a travesty. The judge is tainted, and make it into a media circus about how the judge wants to take him down, blah, blah. He did what any good judge does. He recused himself. Now, when the judge recuses himself, there is a bit of a lottery. They were hoping it would be, my sources are saying they were hoping it would be the younger judge, because when judges are younger, they tend to be more inexperienced and he could be pushed around. Again, back to the original point. This judge is not to be played with. He is a walking encyclopedia. You have to be a walking encyclopedia. Let me explain why. And then I'm going to get back into this. Okay. You know how you see Perry Mason and all that stuff, and they're like, objection, Your Honor. On what? Like, objection, Your Honor. Inconsequential, Your Honor. Strike the, how like they're always saying all that stuff, right? That jargon actually means something, as I'm sure you guys know. But here's the thing. If you can object, and there's grounds for what you can object on. Objection, Your Honor. And you have to state your grounds, right? Leading the witness. Inconsequential. Objection, Your Honor. Conjuncture, right? There's if you look at the federal rules of procedures, there's all these different ways that you can object and grounds to basically stop an attorney in their tracks. And the best attorneys use this as a tool. Because when I'm out there, let's just say like I'm an attorney and I'm out there cooking. Yeah, Your Honor. So let the record reflect Exhibit A. And I'm out there cooking, right? Cooking. A way you can actually get, and law is a mental game just like anything. It's a mental sport. If you can keep saying objection, 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 and you have to give grounds for the objection, it's listed on what grounds you can say. There's about maybe 20. There's probably more. I don't know the exact amount. The point is there's actual grounds. Skilled lawyers that literally have memorized and they know like the back of their hand the grounds for objection. When a lawyer's out there cooking, you're just like objection, 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 and it gets in their mind. It messes them up. They're out there cooking. They got to remember what they said. They go this, and that. They might have had a plan of attack to literally like cook the witness, but you back them up. So now they have to think of a new plan of attack just like that. Again, the law is a mental sport. So the best lawyers have somebody on their team that know the federal rules of evidence and also like what you can object to like the back of their hand. So while the other team is cooking, objection, 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 and it does mess up the flow. It also breaks the spell that a good lawyer can get on a jury when they're talking and they're just weaving fantastical things. It breaks the spell. Okay. The thing is, when you have an inexperienced judge, it has to happen in a with an eye. So if you're like, objection, Your Honor, leading the witness, objection, conjuncture, every time you open your mouth, objection, 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 right? You need a judge, experienced judges, because they know it like the back of their hand. They can make fair rules. It's almost like being at a sporting event when the referee doesn't really know the rules of the game, but the game has to keep going like a soccer game, right? A soccer game, or if you're European, a football game. You gotta know the rules. And if you have a judge or a referee, which is all a judge is, if you have a referee that doesn't really know the rules, it's easy to get over because you just make a smoke screen. You make a smoke screen. You make a smoke screen, right? Okay. This judge ain't like this. This judge know the rules better than the lawyers do. So if they try that smoke screen, he is going to shut them down. They said the speedy trial. So when you get a speedy trial, you're guaranteed a right to a speedy trial. Most people with dealing with the feds, they say we will waive. So the speedy trial is the presumption. We will waive the speedy trial while we prepare. Now, what does that do? There's a couple things. One, I just talked about with evidence. You got to get through the mountain of evidence that the feds actually have so you know what to defend yourself on, right? Two, usually you out on bail. So you want to slow down the speedy trial because when you're looking at things that Sean Diddy Combs did, you honestly don't know whether you're going to spend your life in jail or not. So you want to slow this trial down and walk it down to a snail's pace. You might even, if you're lucky, be out on bail for 2 years, maybe 3 years. You just keep delaying. However, Diddy's in jail, and most people in jail don't want to stay in jail for that long. But Diddy has an interesting conundrum. There's a pretty good chance the feds, again, have a 99.1% conviction rate, right? No, I'm sorry, 99.1% plea deals before it even gets to court. 99% of cases are pled out. Out of that 1% that's like, no, I'm going to fight you. They have a 98.7% conviction rate. So everybody says, I'll take the plea. The 1% is like, no, we're going to fight. 98.7% of them go to jail. Okay. So with Diddy, it's interesting because Diddy is interesting, right? Because what do? Because of your own arrogance and obstructing justice, you sitting in jail when you should be on bail. If he was on bail right now, and if they hadn't arrested him for obstructing justice and all the stuff, if he was on bail, and who would have thought that Dawn's lawsuit, out of everybody talking trash, him thinking that he had Kalina in the bag, and maybe he did, because let's not forget that a couple of months ago, I think it was 6 months ago, I'll repost a video, Kalina said that all Diddy's victims have disgruntled employee syndrome. That's before they knew that Dawn was suing. Kalina been taken up for Diddy. She said she had the time of her life and she loved him. He's the best boss ever. I said, girl, I'm going to be more quiet because you don't want somebody that might be the rap Jeffrey Epstein. I was about to say mix with a little Jeffrey Dahmer, but we all know, let me not start any rumors, right? That somebody's a rap Jeffrey Epstein. You don't want to say he was a model boss because now people are looking at you strange. But getting back to what I was saying, Diddy's an interesting case because the speedy trial is not going to help him. Legal people said it's one in many bad decisions. However, the longer the trial goes, the more he'll be in jail. Diddy has gotten in his head that once he gets on the stand and once he testifies, he is going to wow the world. He's going to let us know He's just a lover, not a fighter. He's basically going to try to run the same mess he's been running on America for the last 20 years. The only problem is we are paying attention, right? They're also saying that Diddy's making bad decisions with the speedy trial also, because even though he's in like the worst prison detention center, he's sleeping on like a cold hard bed and like teaching like, like the rats and the roaches in the cell how to do that Harlem shake, right? And like, remember when him and Jennifer Lopez were like doing the salsa dancing on live, right? And she's like, I taught you that. And this is during the pandemic. And she's like, I taught you that. I taught you that. Diddy gonna be saying the same thing to the rats and the roaches in the cell. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Do the conga. You but any longer feel the music any longer. Literally, that's what Diddy's gonna be teaching. No, Roach 3. It's boom, boom, bap. He gonna be doing some boom cat. Shout out to Lorianne Gibson. But all jokes aside, right? They're saying that this is a thing of bad decisions. He's desperate. He thinks he's going to get out. So he's pushing for a speedy trial. But people said another big reason that is really, really bad is the fact that Cassie's video, that federal evidentiary compilation that was given to CNN, right? Because they wanted to start to rehabilitate Cassie's image. Up to that point, Diddy was saying enough is enough. The people that were Diddy lawyers was like, I don't know who's lying, blah, blah, blah. By putting that Cassie video out, they made anybody that publicly supported Diddy as somebody that condones brutality, condones domestic violence, condones the worst parts, some of the worst parts of humanity, okay? They're saying the speedy trial is not working for Diddy. We're going to get into this. Just let me cook. It's all going to wrap up. Anyone, what's up, y'all? Hit that like button. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tisa. Baby, these are ramblings, but it's all going to wrap up in a bowl by the end of it, okay? Just keep sticking like little reminders in your head, okay? That video is still new and still shocking in everybody's mind. Still new and still shocking. They're saying that because he wants a speedy trial and he is going to court in 3 months, I think in a speedy trial, the trial date has to be before 3 months. At least it has to start, right? They'll set the trial. I think they were going to meet on October 9th. They've set the trial calendar, the pre-trial meeting for October 10th. What that is if you guys don't know, every trial that happens, you have to have a speedy trial. But even once the trial starts, it can't be dragged on. It needs to be expedient. So in that conference, they set the way everything's going to go. Okay, discovery is going to be done by this date. We're going to have the witness list by this date. This is going to be the first day of trial. This is going to be the day that the defense has their day. The day that the prosecution has their day. Everything that happens in a trial is booked on a calendar. That's how court reporters know when to be there, how long the trial is going to take. The only thing that is up for debate is, or that might be a little bit off, is yes, if there's anything surprising that happens, that they need to do an extension. But also the only thing that could actually change from that calendar is we know what day the trial is going to end, but nobody knows how long the jury is going to deliberate. But the jury deliberating doesn't stop new trials from starting. So the jury deliberating is like, okay, we finished the trial. The jury can take as long as they want to deliberate, okay? So the point of the matter is, every legal expert is like, why would you go to trial that quickly while everybody remembers what happens in the Cassie video? On top of that, Diddy at this point is being blamed for the death of JFK. Not only that, Diddy's associates are being blamed for everything from now to the death of JFK. On top of that, Diddy's people that pay his lawyers and pay for his things and are secretly helping him out, right? If you can believe that. The longer, the quicker you start a trial in the whole media frenzy, the easier it is for the jury pool to be tainted and for people to convict you early. People are saying, even from a legal strategy, he'd be better off just lying low for 6 months, 8 months, a year, wait until things die down on TikTok, die down on YouTube. I know, not my channel. Y'all know I stay doing this, but Wait till it dies down. Everything dies down. Wait till they can get counter narratives out in the media that maybe they don't make any sense, but for people that want to excuse an abuser, they're like, yeah, 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 yeah. This is what things people do. But Diddy's not going to be able to do that. Why? Because he wants a speedy trial. Why does he want a speedy trial? Because he is tired of teaching the roaches and rats in his cell how to do the Harlem Shake. He wants out, and he's so delusional, he thinks he can get himself out. And again, it is poetic, almost like a Shakespearean turn of events that Diddy's own arrogance got him popped in jail. Because if he wasn't messing around with that Dawn stuff, if he hadn't been doing this, he could have been staying out, enjoying his life, going on romantic walks on the beach with Stevie J, while Stevie J is wearing a polyester Amazon two-piece and some suede gray New Balances and ankle socks, right? They literally could have just been living, he could have been living his life, and then it wouldn't have been a need for speedy trial. So because his arrogance got put him in there, his arrogance and delusion makes him think, let's run, 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 run. Again, when everybody think you're guilty, it's not the time to start arguing your case. The time to start arguing your case is when things calm down, when some of the crazier theories have been debunked. And yeah, normal people are like, okay, fine, he didn't kill JFK, but he needs to pay. But also, things subside. You can get a counter narrative out. That's when you want to go to trial, not one. They said this is a series of bad decisions, which goes back to who is paying for Diddy's lawyers? What is Diddy trying to do? Because at the end of the day, this does not benefit anybody. Maybe the people that Diddy might serve, but for the people on Diddy's level and under, it doesn't benefit anyone. The prosecution is eating this up. People are saying that they invite this because Diddy is going to start squealing on everybody and throwing everybody's names under the bus. Hold on, you guys. We're going to get back into that, but let me get back into this presentation, okay? Let me get into this presentation. Josh Russell said, again, he is a huge attorney, said, Judge Carter frequently recuses because his wife is a lawyer for the Bank of New York Mellon. There we go. I was like, JP Morgan Mellon, the Bank of New York Mellon, and used to work at JP Morgan Chase. Again, what does this have to do with the money laundering? We're going to get into that in a second. On top of that, right? Diddy, the judge, the new judge, the young judge, the one that they thought they were going to be able to run circles around, they just he just granted a protective order on what's going on in the case, right? Now, this is different than a gag order. A gag order would mean that everything given is going to be confidential and it will never be released to the media. That is not the same thing as a protective order. A protective order is when a defendant, because he's requesting a speedy trial, Diddy has requested access to discovery. He has requested access to the evidence the government has against him because he knows, because of the speedy trial, he needs to start building his case even before the investigation is over. By the way, the feds are bringing up new charges. We're going to talk about that in a second, right? A superseding indictment is on their way. And we have some insight to you on what's in that indictment, okay? Superseding means, remember I said that indictment would not be the only one? That indictment was the first. It was in the middle of the investigation. They have another indictment that's coming with even more charges that's to be levied on Diddy. Because Diddy wants his trial to start in 3 months, he is now demanding access to discovery early. The calendar has not been set. Once the court calendar is set, that's when you usually know when you're going to get access. He's saying every minute counts. I need it now. Now, the judge has said, because he knows he's been watching social media. He's 40. He's young, right? He's been watching social media, and the prosecution, they already know what Diddy's deal is, right? They have literally put a gag order on Diddy, not us, but Diddy, for all sealed material, right? And attorney possession only of material, which means that if any of this information leaks, Diddy's attorneys could lose their legal license, or they could be very much sanctioned in court. How is this different than a gag order or a sealed court? Because discovery, it becomes public knowledge once the case moves to trial. So when the case moves to trial, everything that they want us to know becomes public knowledge. Prior to the case moving to trial, we don't know what's in that evidence. Excuse me, I mean, people talk, but nobody knows for certain. So this is saying that Diddy, they're saying, okay, Diddy, your constitutional right, since you're doing a speedy trial, we cannot deny you access to evidence, but we don't trust you that it's not going to leak. You're not going to start a counter narrative. You're not going to start. Remember when Diddy's lawyer did TikToks pointing to Don's text messages like she did something? And I said, this is your lawyer, and over here, and over here, and over here. And I was like, I get it. But you're not going to Johnny Depp your way out of this one. I get it. But what do I know, right? The Agnephilios are lawyers, very high esteem. And these new lawyers are very high esteem. I'm just on YouTube running my mouth. So maybe they know something I don't, but I do want to say that it fell like a lead balloon, right? Anyway, sealed material. If Diddy leaks the government's disclosure material, referred to as sealed material, blah, 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 that identifies or could lead to the identification of witnesses who may be subject to intimidation or obstruction, and whose lives, persons, and property, as well as all lives, persons, and property of loved ones, will be subject to risk or harm absent the protective consideration herein. They're basically, the government was like, we don't trust Diddy. We know, and this bodes so bad for Diddy, that the government is turning over material saying, Your Honor, we know we have to give it to him, but we don't trust this mofo. He is a danger to the witnesses. He is a danger to the society. We have proof that he is danger. We'll give the information, but if any of these sealed documents leak on Twitter, on TikTok, on YouTube, the court will not just sanction Diddy, right? And remove all right there, but also his attorneys will be in trouble, right? They're also saying certain materials in this case raise a particular risk of affecting the privacy or safety of victims or witnesses, or the confidentiality of the ongoing investigation. Disclosure material produced by the government to the defense counsel that is either one, designated in whole or in part as attorney possession only. That means that Diddy's attorney, while they're preparing Diddy's defense, some of the information they're going to show the attorneys cannot even talk about it or discuss it with Diddy. Okay? It includes attorney possession only, APO or APO material. Now, let me just say this. Is that realistic? Of course not. Of course, Diddy's attorneys are probably going to discuss everything with it. That is written so that Diddy's attorneys will be liable if anything leaks. Because the U.S. attorney will say, hold up, we had this mess for almost a year. Ain't nobody know about it. Now we give it to you, and 2 months later, there are bot accounts and TikTok accounts running or not even 2 months, because Diddy's trial is going to start before then. 2 weeks later, there are bot accounts, TikTok accounts, all these things running this counter narrative. Nobody knows about this. It has not been on social media until we leaked it to you. So you guys are going to be responsible and take the brunt of it. Again, Diddy did it for himself. Also, disclosure and treatment, they are trying to keep under wraps. Again, this is not boding well for Diddy. And Diddy's team really thought that they were doing something by getting the prior Black man that was sitting on, because apparently, and this makes it actually even more kind of gross, Diddy's judge was a Black man. And he's a great judge. His record is impeccable, blah, 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 blah. But and his record's impeccable. However, Diddy's prior lawyers, Mark Agnophilia or whoever, were making a big state about they just messing with the Black man. Yana, am I right? Am I right? Jive turkeys. Like literally, I thought when he was like, you know how it is with black men, racism. And this is Diddy's lily white lawyer. Now, listen, I know that there can be allies, and that's not it. The issue is it just seems so insincere and so performative. I expected him to be like, "Am I right, Your Honor? Them jive turkeys," and smack hands. I expected him to be like, "Right, right. Can I get ha ha 2 snaps?" It just seems so performative and so insincere. And so, do you even realize the words you are saying out of your mouth? So I'm sure that while he was doing that whole performative, just a black man, they trying to keep him down. And again, I feel like they even did that because they were in front of a black judge, and Mark Agnifili and his crew back then thought during the Bell hearing that they were going to be like, black, I heard y'all stick together. Diddy, give them the nod. And then black judge was just sitting there like, "Are you done, counselor? Counselor, are you done? Are you done? The government's trying to take a black man down." And he's looking like, the government check notes held a freak off with over 120 people. Is that the part of government? Again, I think that they thought they were going to be like, yeah. So they were like, the black judge was looking at him like, "Are you finished or are you done? Speed it up, counselor." He even said he was a choir boy, and the judge knew they were in trouble when the judge said, and he said he was an altar boy. And the judge was like, "How long ago was that?" I said, "Oh, oh." Right? So Diddy, because of that, they were pushing this whole conflict of interest. They want to keep everything above board. Everything is being done. But now you left the one judge and you got even a worse judge because he's Indian American. He damn sure don't see you, his cousins and uncles, in your face. And even if he did, this guy is a walking encyclopedia. He is new. He has something to prove. He is again, it's probably an even exchange. Both judges are highly acclaimed. There's never been anything of impropriety. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's better to have the devil because this judge is not going for any bull stuff, right? Anyway, they have put basically a gag order on Diddy's camp for all the material that they share. That means that Diddy is not going to be able to run a counterpoint, right? A counterpoint. I do want to say something when people are like, "Oh my God, they just going after black celebrities." I mean, yeah, but you could have said that with Harvey Weinstein, R.B. Hammer, Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of people went down, but at the end of the day, I'm sick of this. Don't run a suspected sex trafficking campaign, and you won't have to worry about being hauled in on jail. Denzel ain't being hauled in, is he? Is he? Is he? Is he? Right? What's his name? Andre 3000 ain't being hauled in, is he? Right? Who else? There's a bunch of people, but they're not being hauled in. So the fact that people are just accepting, and I think that was actually playing into racist talking points, that we're just like a lawless, heathenistic people, and this is just what we do. Even how the lawyers were like, "That's not what we do," or maybe not what you do, but in certain cultures, that's what they do. We are not a lawless, hedonistic people that's like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's not normal in our households, and I refuse to accept anybody saying that it is normal and that, oh, they're going after, yes, they're going after black criminals. The question is, why are you throwing up a shield of protection around the black criminal? Let them take them. Let them purge our communities. We have the best, we have the brightest, we have the smartest, we have the most talented. We can get new people with more talent and more this and more that. We can actually get someone who actually is the person Sean Diddy, Justice Love, whatever his name is, whoever Sean Combs pretended to be. We can get someone who really is like that, who is the man that Diddy pretended to be. Great father for the culture, lifting up, creating opportunities. People are going up for a man that didn't do nothing but steal and rob black and brown artists, abuse women of all colors, but mostly black women. And like this is who people want to go up for. I don't understand that. I have faith in my community. I know we'll get somebody that truly is who that man pretended to be. And we need to get him out the way so someone who truly is that can actually take the place. Y'all want an icon. Y'all want an idol. The only thing Diddy did was put money in his pocket. You know he ain't do anything. I know. I'm going to get back on point in a second. You know Diddy ain't do anything. I'll tell you how. Because if he did, they would be shouting it from the rooftops. Ain't one person that could say, "Oh my God, Diddy gave me a scholarship and I feel so much better." And one person say he was a good person. Hasn't one person come on social media besides a random IG girl that's looking to be a lawyer, and this hasn't, or Ray J, whose reputation has been besmirched. And we just saw you trying to gaslight your kids over what happened between you and Princess. And Princess says she's done it. She's going to see you in court, right? But my whole point is, hasn't one person of high regard come out and said that Diddy did anything to help them or Diddy did anything to change their lives? We got a bunch of artists saying Diddy lied and stole. We have Miss Wallace that will testify that Diddy ain't even really give her money. Like Diddy was making a big thing about paying for Biggie's funeral and then made them pay for it and then took it out of his money. Go and I paid for your funeral and then take it out of the money that's supposed to go to his kids and his mom. Diddy has been a monster. He never helped anybody but himself. He used the Black community to leverage himself, and he used the Black community as a shield to help himself and enrich his pockets. But if Diddy was such a shining light, where are all these people? And no, literally dancing in the club to take this money. That does not count as helping the Black community, baby. We do nothing but make bops. I'm sorry, that don't count. That don't count. So these people defending, oh, he's an icon, he's a legend. To who? To who? My playlist. I mean, let's not be real. My playlist never really had Diddy in it. But the whole point of the matter is making a bop when there are thousands of people waiting in line to get their bop, and we probably would have had better bops. Only the thing is, Diddy wanted to see what that mouth do. Diddy wanted a sloppy toppy. Diddy wanted people to bend it over and bust it open for a player before we could even see the gifts they would have bring us. So move the demon out the way. Move him out the way. Throw him in jail. I don't care. The angry mobs want to rush him away. What do we look like defending a monster that as soon as the angry mobs leave, they gonna eat us alive? I don't understand that logic. I really don't. But anyway, right? Let's get back into the PowerPoint presentation. Also, let me hit these super chats real quick. Deborah Daniels, thank you so much for becoming a member. Ash, thank you for being a new member. Oh, everybody give Ash a shout out. She just gifted 5 memberships. Y'all, thank you so much for gifting those memberships. Ash, and you just gifted 10 memberships? Thank you so much, Ash. I love this question. Thank you so much, Ash. I appreciate you guys. Ash gifted 15 memberships. Please, y'all, say thank you and give a shout out. And Ash, welcome to the family. I very much appreciate that. Also, Marielle Miller Young, thank you for the super sticker. Naomi, thank you for becoming a member. Gerald Gibson, yo, Gerald, thank you for gifting that membership. I appreciate that. Good looking out. Jessica Taylor said, Tisa, you always got the tea. Thank you, Miss Taylor. S4CX Attack, thank you so much for the super sticker. We also have Miss MJ Swagger. Miss MJ Swagger said, girl, not the judge quitting. Shh, let me grab my wine and snacks. Auntie T said, you're welcome. Auntie T said, I like the ring of that. Thank you. Yes. Gather around as I share my knowledge. First off, don't trust no man. Don't trust no Christian. Just joking. We'll have to talk about that later. It said, Auntie Tisa, thank you for spilling the tea. You always killing the gay. Thank you, Miss MJ Swagger. I like that. Take my place as a noble elder in the village. Everybody sit down. Thelma Jordan, thank you so much for the super sticker. S4CT Attack, thank you again for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. Thelma Johnson, if I didn't thank you, I thanked you. Thank you. Saturn Mirror said, y'all show your support for T. Said she's working overtime. I'm trying my best. The Riddler, thank you so much for the super sticker. Also, y'all, starting tomorrow, I'm going to do my best to also weave in some other funny news because I know y'all been following what's going on with Cardi and Offset. You think they back together? Okay, we'll talk about that later. Ash, Ash, you guys, Ash, thank you so much for gifting 20 memberships. You guys, shout out to Ash. You have gifted 35 membership in one live. Y'all, shout out to Ash. Thank you, Ash. Lisa Rodriguez, what's up, girl? Said, gotta object like Camille Vasquez versus Amber Heard's lawyer and throw the opponent all the way off. If y'all were watching, good point, Lisa. If you were watching the Amber Heard, Johnny Depp, Camille Vasquez, she is that lawyer that knows the federal rules of procedure left and right. Your Honor, Your Honor, Your Honor, objection, objection. To the point of the other lawyer was like, what can I say? And she looked at them and was like, nothing. Sit down. Sit down before I sit you down. Camila Vasquez was on one, and I got to admire it. She did her job. Arian 5-star said that judge quit because he was at those parties. Stop it. That's not why the judge quit. Stop it. Let me tell y'all something. You know what? And let me just say this. I'm not defending anybody because you never know. But I don't know. But you know what? Let me shut up because I don't know if they were or not. But at this point, everybody that speaks out about someone can't be at those parties. That's going to become the new thing. We all going to go out to eat. What you want? I don't know. Let's go to Cheesecake Factory. No, let's go get sushi. And I'm like, no, I don't want sushi. Why? Because you was at Diddy's parties. You don't like eating that fish? You don't like that sushi? Ask yourself why. Why don't you like that sushi? And I'll be like, y'all got to stop. That's the way things are turned into. Every time somebody don't agree with someone, oh, they was probably there. They was probably doing it. Okay, that's why you don't want sushi? Ask yourself, why don't you want any sushi? That's the real question. Okay. Anyway, right? Adrian, I'm gonna hurt you. Anyway, right? Miss MJ Swagger said, yo, Auntie Tisa, Amazon took down Kim Porter's book. You can't buy it. Good thing I got mine. Listen, good thing we had the book club. Let me tell you something. We're going to talk about that because now the author's coming back saying, guess what? Y'all pulled my book down because y'all thought I was hating. Now he's claiming to have tapes. But you know what? I'm going to do a video about that. I wanted to go live about it, but there's so much news going on. Quincy and I'll be sure proved they was about that life. And I said, well, if the book's fake, why is it still up on Amazon? And they said, boop, good point, and pulled that mug down. So we're going to do a video about that. I'm glad you got your copy too, Miss Swagger. Listen, we can't call it Kim Porter's book anymore. We have to call the book the author made that he says are Kim Porter's words, but Kim Porter's family says it's not her words. Sherry Ainsworth, thank you so much for becoming a new member. Devonia Whitey said, keep the cup full, Tisha. Oh, thank you guys. Kim Marie, what's up, Kim Marie? Kim Marie Norman said, Diddy has no control over his life right now. That is his kryptonite. That new judge was a chess move. It was a chess move, but the thing is, much like Diddy being in jail, he did it to himself. You could have just been chilling with your old judge. Yeah, he denied you bail. But what you want to do, Diddy, you were literally obstructing justice and witness intimidation. He can't let you stay out there. So yeah, it sucks you're in jail. But you literally shook up the Yahtzee thing. You shook up the 8-ball like, let me see what else I get. And then boom, now you are in a worse situation. And this speedy trial, they're saying, is a series of bad decisions over and over. But Diddy swears he knows what he's doing. Just like, what were you doing out there intimidating witnesses? Like, how did you think you were going to get away with that with the feds? The cartel can't even get away with that, Diddy. The hell? Anyway, Mel Bethel, what's up, Mel? Said, not an altar board. TT, the new judge definitely has something to prove. He has to prove he can keep his case moving along with very few mistakes. Exactly. He is going to speedy trial the F out of that speedy trial. He is going to make sure everything's above board. He's going to make sure that he looks good during the media circus. And yes, I will be one of the ringleaders in the circus. Attention, please, right? But he has a lot to prove. And he is going to make sure that the first time the world meets him, it's not literally treating him like his name is Mark Agnifilio or Agnelio. Sorry, Mark A, Diddy's attorney. All right. Yo, Ash. Yo, Ash is up to 20 plus 10 plus 5, 30. It's up to 55 memberships. Y'all, show some love for Ash. Woo! I wish I had a button that showed love. Show some love to Ash. Thank you so much, Ash. Also, Lady Sunflower said, you go, Tisa. You rock, says, thank you, Lady Sunflower. Sunflowers. Desiree Dareshaw said, I'm late. Can I get a recap? Love you, girl. All right, Desiree, we're going to give a quick recap. Also, Harvey Girl 813 said, Tisa, where's Bouncy? Who's Bouncy? Bouncy? Oh, Bouncy and Jay-Z, Will and Jada. Listen, I have an unpopular opinion about all that. I I have an unpopular opinion. Y'all don't want to hear it. You're going to hear it, but let me get back to my PowerPoint. I'll tell you. Khadija Camera 61. Thank you so much for the super chat. Here's all I want to say, right? I don't know who was at those parties. I'm not going to take up for anyone. I know Jay-Z has been seen with Diddy for a while, and I am looking at Jay-Z sideways. I happen to think from the legal people that have told me stuff that Jay-Z's ties to Diddy are more financial than anything else. Basically, they like, but that said, I ain't gonna take up but I hear the ties are financial and it's the money laundering and all this other stuff that could be a potential problem. I do find it odd that Diddy was the king of marrying Black Hollywood and Black entertainment with white Hollywood and white entertainment. And let me just say this. I find it interesting that the only names with zero proof except for they rolled hard together, which for Jay-Z, okay, fine, they rolled hard together. There's a case to be made for that, right? But with zero proof besides suspicions, the only names that have been brought forth are Black celebrities. And that's when I'm like, pause. That is actually impossible. How is it that there is a whole slew of celebrities? Kim K, Paris Hilton, Ashton Kutcher. I could go on and on and on. Steve Stokes. I could go on and on and on about the white artists and celebrities that not just showed up at his parties, but rolled hard. Justin Bieber's stepdad, Stephen Baldwin. Like, there's so many names. I can't even think of all of them, but there's so many names, and no one's talking about that. They're talking about Will and Jada. And don't get me wrong, whatever comes out is what comes out. I am tied to principles, not the people. Whatever comes out, comes out. But I find it odd that people that you barely see pictures of him with are being now drawn into this when we have half a white Hollywood standing next to him. Again, maybe, I don't know, but where's the white Hollywood? I mean, just to be fair and balanced, that's where I'm just like, okay, why is it only, and I get it with Diddy, Kim Porter, Cassie, yeah, they were Black. Okay. But as far as now, when we talk to freak offs, where's the record execs? If they're there, where's the bank owners? Where's the business owners? Where's the agents? Where's the models? Where's the actresses? Where is everybody else? How are we now focusing on people looking under covers? Yeah, it was probably you. I think I got proof. Ask yourself, why is that? Why is that? Ask yourself. And you're just like, we have a million pictures of people standing behind Diddy while two women are kissing with champagne and people are not. We have a million things. What is going on? Why are we looking under beds for people when we have 20 people literally caught in 4K? Again, I'm not defending anything. Anyone could be. And there could be secrets and this and that. But is anybody going to focus on the people we have in 4K? Because if we want to get justice, and I'm serious, if we want to get justice and we want to start getting justice, this is my opinion, right? If we want to get justice and we want to start getting justice, we're going to have to start pulling on the strings of the things in front of us. Because when you pull on those strings, that's where you unravel evidence to get evidence against the secret things. But it's weird that everybody is now going on, like looking under covers. Yeah, gotcha. And all this stuff, where it's just like half the people are like, maybe, other half are like, where's the proof? When we have a whole list of like people like right here, are we going to take them down? Because those people we know for a fact were there. And if those other people are there, if we go after the people that we know for a fact was there, they're going to snitch on the people that we don't know are there. Do you see how that goes? So it's weird that we're jumping over the obvious, completely going over the obvious, and now we're on some maybe Again, Jay-Z was a lot with Diddy. This ain't about Jay-Z because he was a lot with Diddy. He got to explain, right? He really does have to explain. I'm talking about the other names are coming in now. Like, what's next? Are we going to bring Denzel into the, like, at the end of the day? And listen, maybe everybody's guilty, but when are we going to actually start looking at his party pictures are everywhere? When are we going to start actually looking at those people and holding them accountable? Why are we searching for boogeymen and this and that and blah 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 when we can get to the bottom of it by holding the people we know were there accountable, putting pressure on them and making them flip on the sicker people? You see what I'm saying? Anyway, let's keep going. Also, Khadija Kamara, thank you so much for the super chat. Khadija Kamara 61, thank you. Also, Elaine Plowden Brown said, Tisa, I think the high profile person is Will. We're going to see. It's going to come out in the court. Like, that's the thing. Anybody that was named in the documents, even if they're not giving us their name now, they're going to be named in court. So if it is whoever, we're going to find out. Like, that's a guarantee. They're going to find out. Seventh Dimension said, for a sister of a certain age, this is too much. Diddy stole my youth. I heard y'all. Seventh Dimension, you funny. Desiree Dershaw said, do we know if the trial will be live to view? Unfortunately, the trial will not be live to view. Unlike Atlanta, the Southern District of New York does not allow for live broadcast of trials. However, there are going to be up to the minute court reporters, the overflow room. That's where people sit while like when the courtroom's full. The overflow room is a separate room next to the courtroom that has the trial played out on camera, like on video in real time. And you're allowed to take notes. You're about to tweet. You're just not allowed to tape it and to transmit it. So we're going to have up there. I actually am really honestly considering going there and sitting in the courtroom so I can give you guys up to the minute. But if not, we'll cover it with live tweets. We'll cover everything. It is set to be the trial of the century. Also, Ali said, I wonder if Paris Hilton's video was at Diddy's party. Exactly. Paris Hilton and Diddy actually low-key dated for a while. Why aren't we talking about Paris Hilton? Why aren't we talking about the Lindsay Lohans? Why aren't we talking about Kim Kardashian? Why aren't we talking about half the people we know for a fact were at Diddy's parties and partied with Diddy? And that's when Paris Hilton was in her party girl phase. You cannot tell me. S4C Attack. Thank you for gifting a membership. Woo! Thank you. Kitty Cat said, whatever happened to the Riddler? Drake. Oh, we're going to talk about that. That's a funny one. Prophetess Terry said, this is crazy. Everyone is quiet. You know why they're quiet? I see why they're quiet. Because they're quiet because they don't want, you know what I'm going to do tomorrow as a live or Sunday? I'm literally going to get a bunch of pictures from Diddy's party, and we're going to go through every single person we see. I'm going to get all the pictures from years, and we're going to go through every person we see and get an image because I'm sick of this. Why is everybody so quiet? I know why everybody's so quiet. Because random names are now starting to be thrown out, right? And everybody, the mom's like, let's get them. So they think if they be quiet, nobody's going to point out, ain't this you? In the Diddy images and blah, 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 they think that's why they're quiet, because they see people just doing random things and saying random names, and they don't want anyone to focus on the people that we know for a fact was there. Hear me out. Let's focus on the people we know for a fact were there and put pressure on them, because if please believe they are going to flip and tell everybody's name that was there. People don't keep secrets like that. They really don't. They really honestly don't. You just got to apply pressure. But that's why they sitting there being quiet, hoping that we don't point the camera on them. Let's point the thing at them. What do you know, right? In not a hate mob way, but in a legal way. Put evidence on them and let them get the pressure on it. So we know, What Dina said, recap, Diddy on detox, makes more dumb mistakes, can't get a hit, gets angry, more dumb mistakes. Everyone grab a bowl. Chips are falling. We love your show. Thank you so much, Wit. Deer and Water. I love that. You said recap. That's pretty good. Diddy on detox, makes more dumb mistakes, can't get a hit, gets angry, more dumb mistakes. Everyone grab a bowl. Chips are falling. We love your show. I love that. Nazi Asafa said, Asafa said, fantastic job. Thank you so much, Nazi. Lester Leslie, what's up? Oh my God, Lester Leslie, thank you for generous super chat. Yo, thank y'all. Between Ash Drop and memberships and also C4, thank you everybody. And also, of course, Leslie, I appreciate that generous super chat. Mel Bethel said, anyone dealing with Diddy ends up unalive, broke, or doing time. He is the monster that nightmares are made of. By the way, Carl Thomas is telling his story now. Oh, I can't wait to hear about that. I can't wait. Corey Tidwell said that's because ninjas rather see their own go down because they hate themselves. I've literally seen people hoping Jay-Z and Beyonce are involved. Listen, at the end of the day, I honestly hope none of these people are involved. The names that are being thrown out now, it's like, I don't understand. Can we be tethered to reality? It's not saying that people aren't involved. It's just saying that we have ways to find out if they are, you know? Kim Marie Norman says, Tisa, did you hear on the news that Kim K and the Menendez brothers, she's trying to support their release? That's weird. I could have thought Kim was in the business of protecting poor people. Kim K and Ryan, what's it? Ryan, the guy from American Horror Story. He's sick. First of all, let me just say this about the Menendez brothers. I don't know about release, but if you actually read the trial, they actually their dad was a sicko and did a lot of sick stuff at them. Ricky Martin confirmed, one of the other guys from Menudo confirmed, he's done some sick stuff. Now, whether that warranted that brutal murder, that's something different. But Kim is now just clout chasing Netflix killers. Remember they did Ruby, whatever, you're now clout chasing. It's sick and it's weird. Anything to get her name in the news, I think. And before she was clout chasing off of poor people that couldn't get a fair trial. And now you're clout chasing like serial killers or whatever. It's weird. But Ryan Murphy, he is sick. There's something wrong with that man. This is my opinion. Think about it, y'all. We're about to get back on this, but let me just go off on this tangent. Think about this, y'all, right? Ryan Murphy went out of his way to paint the Menendez brothers as liars. Painted as, you don't know whether they were really great by their parents, right? But even if they were, they wouldn't have stopped. He went out of the way to paint them. When you actually read the show notes, the truth of the matter is actually more disturbing. Right now, there are 26 letters from their family that said that everybody knew that their dad was a sicko and was doing stuff. One of the boys had a bruise in the back of his throat when he said his dad did the unthinkable to him. And the prosecution said, oh, he just slipped while he was eating a popsicle. And that's how he got a bruise. Even the doctor, there's so much evidence that they weren't lying about the horrific abuse. But my question is, why is the Menendez brothers, Ryan Murphy overlooked all the evidence and skimmed over it to kind of make it look like they were lying about being abused or they don't know if it was real. Back then, with the Menendez brothers, if you look at actually what happened with the legal documents, back then, people didn't take sexual abuse seriously, just like they still don't take DV seriously. If you kill your abuser, you might actually end up in jail for the rest of your life, right? So he made a movie that really painted the Menendez brothers as con artists lying about the sexual abuse, when the one thing that was pretty much certain was that they were sexually abused by their parents. Now, that could be his artistic liberty, but look at what this sicko did about Jeffrey Dahmer. You romanticized Jeffrey Dahmer, a man that was convicted of kidnapping, raping, eating black men, Asian men that weren't white, drug him, doing the most disgusting, horrible, pure, demonic, satanic, whatever you want to call it, just the most horrible thing. You really went out of your way to romanticize Jeffrey Dahmer, to make him look sexy, to make him look this, to the point of there were people on TikTok romanticizing this mess. How did you take a monster like Dahmer and romanticize him? But then when it comes to the Menendez brothers, people that really did suffer abuse, you literally went out your way to make a movie that skimmed over all the actual evidence, all the letters from the family, all the people saying, yes, they were abused. And you only focus on the people that are like, well, I don't think so. I think they were good people. I think this and that. It's like when you get into Ryan Murphy's mind, even like that American Horror Story, I know that people are into it, but when you get into his mind and the things he chooses, oh, and get this with the Menendez brothers. Not only that, he did a statement that said he doesn't care how the Menendez brothers felt, what they did. You know, when he was making that, he refused to interview them, refused to speak with them, refused to let them tell their side of the story, and then skimmed over all the evidence they were great. Why are you so intent on making child rapists an institute? Why are you so intent on making them human and making us think that they're innocent and they were unjustly killed? But you are sitting there romanticizing Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm telling you, there's something sick about Ryan Murphy. I've been thinking this for a while, but when I saw what he did with Dahmer, and I was like, this is sick. And then when I saw what he did with the Menendez brothers and the way you refused to speak with them, you refuse to speak with their family members. You refuse to speak with the people that said, we know for a fact. And you know, in 2003, they actually might be released. Do you know why? Because Kim K is a clout chaser, not because of her. But what's going on with the Menendez brothers is in 2023, another member of Menudo actually filed suit against the estate of the Menendez brothers' father, saying, yeah, I was horribly raped too. So there's new evidence where there's even proof you can't deny. He was anyway. Let me just go. Anyway, let's keep going, right? Have you looked up Ellie Carter's story? Look it up. I have looked up her story. It's very, very deep. Also, Harvey Girl 813 said, yes, Ron Burkle, Clive Davis, Lucian Grange, Oprah, Tyler Perry, Russell Brand, and Jay-Z. Thank you. Harvey Girl, exactly. We have pictures of these people. They were there over and over and over and over and over again. We have people we can actually look at and be like, yeah, you did it. Really quick, Mel Bethel said, Will trying to redeem himself. He might seem like a hummingbird if he knows anything, which is possible based on he and Jada's rumored lifestyle. I can't. Tati Too Cute for You says, SMH, Diddy being in jail is not enough for some. Also, Saturn Mirror, you're right. And I actually think Diddy's going to take people down with him. You can't tell me he is not. Saturn Mirror said, we should be talking about everybody who hung with Diddy and then had their reputations and careers ruined, especially if Lou Taylor tried to succeed in putting them under conservatorship. Exactly. Devonia White said, I feel like the high profile person is Ellen. Now, that would be a plot twist. That would be, but remember though, here's the only thing about the Ellen thing. Remember how Ellen, when he got on the show, she said, how come you never invite me to any of your parties? And he was like, oh, because I didn't think you was going to want to come. And she's like, I wanted to come. So let's see, after that show, she started hanging out and her and Portia started, Portia, whatever her wife's name is. But again, it might be Ellen. I wonder who that high profile person is. Kenny Lofton said, where's Ellen DeGeneres? Exactly. And remember what happened? Was it Anne Hesh? What happened to her when she sat up and they said that she died in the car and then she sat up when she was on a gurney? That's Ellen's ex-girlfriend. That was weird. Exactly. The Menendez dad. Thank you so much. That was Kenyon Lofton. Thank you for the super chat. Isaiah Gutierrez said the Menendez dad was also grooming the Menudo boys. Exactly. One of them in 2003 filed lawsuits against him. That man was guilty of sin. And the fact that Ryan Murphy chose to overlook all that evidence and just paint them and saying there's no excuse. I don't know. It's just weird to me when you are romanticizing a damn rapist, cannibal, Satanist. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird. Anyway, Arian 5-star said there's a family member of the Menendez brothers who passed away, and the family found letters that one of the brothers were writing him about the father raping him. Exactly. Those also came out in 2003. Those also came out. Thank you so much, Arian Star. Isaiah said, isn't Ryan also doing the Aaron Hernandez one? I want to see what he does with Aaron Hernandez. He is. He's obsessed with like dark stuff. Brandy Daenerys, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Doreen Angel said, Tisa, Ryan Murphy would not allow Nicholas Chavez, the actor, speak to Lyle. Also, Ryan Murphy, I did hear stories. Oh, wait, you did? You have stories to tell. You did booking for his travel, but Doree, hit me up. There's something off with Brian Murphy. I don't care what anybody says. After this last movie, I was like, yeah, no. Seventh Dimension said, what if it's Oprah? Now that would be a blockbuster. What if it's Oprah? DJ 61 said the public has been so trained to always look at Black celebrities first when we know color is immaterial. Exactly. Monsters come in all colors. That is true. Keep being realties and speaking the truth to power. You truly are an asset. Oh, thank you, DJ 61. Exactly. Okay, so let's get back into this really quick, okay? And then we're going to um hold on. Also, you guys, make sure everybody that got a membership from CB CB4, make sure I have your thing right. They got a membership from this dyslexia be kicking my butt. S4C Attacks. And also, Ash, make sure that y'all give a big thank you. Okay. Make sure y'all give a big thank you. Okay. So let's get back into this, right? Because what I really want to talk about is, right, the case has been reassigned. All counsel must familiarize themselves with the court's individual practice in the criminal case. Again, the trial thing is going to be on October 10th. It was October 9th, right? Inner city press it, Diddy docket, change of judge, change of schedule. As Deshaun Combs is here, he's just going over that stuff, right? Then we have the actual dockets on the screen. One second. The notice of appeal by Sean Combs, right? The filing fee, right? Transmission of notice of appeal. Diddy is appealing. He is appealing also his new bail. They're hoping that if they get in front of a judge, the judge will give him bail. My sources are saying that if Diddy gets bail, he will 100 then waive his right to a speedy trial and want the trial to proceed as slow as possible. Okay. Again, we're looking at people. Let's look at who was on this balcony. Let's do some Google reserve, a Google reverse image. But let's go into this, right? Diddy's prosecutors are working on a superseding indictment after a treasure trove of fresh evidence emerges and 120 plus new accusers come forward. Now, you guys, this to me is one of the most interesting things in the world, because the superseding indictment means that since this is a speedy trial, they are going to drop all their charges in the next week or two. You know that one of the freak off workers, male, actually got interviewed. There are more that are coming in the coming weeks, but they should be done by the second week of October. All of Diddy's charges will be made. Diddy thinks by speeding it up, they're not going to be able to charge everything, but the federal people have been working on this for the last year. Let's get this, right? They're saying Sean Diddy Combs will face an expanded indictment with more detailed and specific crimes after a so-called treasure trove of evidence emerged since he was charged 2 weeks ago. This is according to a top law enforcement claim. So it's not just what we've been saying, it's what the culture is feeling. The individual who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they're not authorized to speak about the case said 100% more charges are coming. Again, they're wrapping up this grand jury thing by the 15th. There was an expectation that prosecutors could and would uncover more evidence at a later point, and thus they expected to supersede this indictment with more charges. This was just the starting point, as is often the case in RICO indictments. Since the original indictment was unsealed on September 17th, new evidence has emerged along with new victims who have contacted the Department of Justice. One insider added the prosecutors will bundle all this up and at some point amend and replace the original indictment, listing a new slew of formal charges against the defendant. The source wouldn't be drawn on if additional defendants would also be charged. I'm hearing 100% additional defendants are going to be charged. They have to be. Diddy couldn't have done this on his own unless everybody flipped on him. But they only need so many people to flip. There comes a certain point when the feds are like, we got everything we need. We can start charging more people. You know, you only need 5, 10, maybe 15 people to say he did it. After that, everybody else, yeah, you're part of the problem. Anyway, they're saying the federal indictment accused him of kidnapping, arson, bribery, assault. I do want to say this before we move on. A lot of people think that Diddy won't see it. Y'all realize that even if all these charges are dismissed, he still has a gun charge. And that charge still is for 5 years in federal. Diddy is not beating this no matter what you say or do. No matter what you say or do, he can just not beat it. What's more, hold on. Oh, wrong thing. Sorry about that. What's more, I already did a live about that. What's more, there is more heating up. But listen, let me get back into this. Hold on. That's what's going on with the new trial. That is how Diddy is going down. The new judge, Mel Bethel, said, "I don't think it's Ellen. She cries too much. To not too sure she hangs with us colored folks that much." I mean, she do just say Montecito, right? Or everything is white. Every day her life is a white party. Also, Victoria Alda Harpender, thank you for gifting a membership, y'all. Give a shout out to S4 Attacks and also Ash. And of course, Victoria, girl, thank you so much. Make sure y'all say thank you for these memberships if you can. Jay New, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Bia Jackson, Bia Bahia Jackson. I'm sorry, how do I pronounce your name? Bahia Jackson said, "Tisa, can you go in the tunnels? You may find Oprah's Africa girls and some of the missing children." Y'all, listen, I'm nosy, but I ain't that nosy. I ain't going nowhere in those tunnels. I believe energy can snatch soul. I'm not going in that place. I believe it's just like when people go get married on plantations. I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you try to make your union of love based off of the blood, literal blood, sweat, tears, and bodies of a tortured people? Do you know what bad energy that is to welcome a union of love into? Like, I wish somebody would actually do a report, literally like a study on how many people got married on a plantation that their unions ended in divorce or violence or some type of sick stuff. I'm really genuinely curious. I bet you it's higher than the national average. I just don't believe that you can get married on some place that has such a violent, disgusting, pain-filled. I believe pain leaves echoes. Like, I just don't, and that's what it's just on top of just being sick, being married in a plantation. But I just don't believe you can. Nope. Nope, 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 nope. But I agree. I ain't going into. I say I'm not going in those tunnels. But Laya B said, "Hey Tisa, the high-profile person who was a young man apparently. Check out the New York Post article published today." Ooh, now y'all want to hear me speculate? Do y'all want to hear me speculate? This is all from the thing. What if that high-profile man is Usher? Because yes, there are all these things saying that Usher was Diddy's victim, but Usher's a grown man now. And unlike Justin Bieber that just literally minds his business, Usher's made some weird choices. He was all up in Diddy. Y'all saw that video with Kevin Hart when the party was over and Usher showed up. What you show up for when the party's over? I guess so they can wrestle off of those frosted flakes, right? But also look at the weird things he's done with when he got his Vegas residency out of the blue with no one provoking him and no one asking for it. He then flew to see Russell Simmons, who, by the way, we found out they just dropped it today in the news. He secretly settled with some of those Me Too movement victims. And guess what? The way we found out what the settlement is, they took him to court because he settled with 3 of the victims for $3 million and ain't paying none of them a dime. How many other people did he settle with, but he actually paid? Mr. He's so innocent. When Usher got that Vegas residency, when all eyes are on him and the media was looking, he flew all the way over to Russell Simmons to see him in Bali. And not only did he fly over to celebrate with them, right? He made sure that he posted pictures so we would know that he supports Russell Simmons. Now, Russell Simmons also has a yoga retreat, so you're also doing advertising on Russell Simmons. Why, when the whole world is looking at you clapping up, are you now going out and supporting? And when all eyes are on you, You want everyone to know that you stand with Russell Simmons and support Russell Simmons, the OG person. And that's another thing I have to say. Everybody in the record industry is a hypocrite. They're all sitting there. Everyone, oh my God, the ones that I can't believe Diddy did that. How come nobody said anything? How come nobody said anything? Because we actually had the very first iteration of Diddy, which was Russell Simmons. And if you look at Drew Dixon's report, right? And shout out to Drew Dixon. She actually did kick off the Me Too movement. And she did it against a whole misogynistic hip hop industry. And it was co-opted into the Hollywood as a different Me Too, but she's the one that started it. And you do, but the thing is, when everybody heard about the sick mess that Russell Simmons was doing, right? And people can say what they want about Russell. Russell still won't sit for deposition. He just got served. He has been hiding. And when he comes into the US, he sneaks in. Does that sound like an innocent man? Right? But the thing is, with Russell Simmons, everybody knew what Russell Simmons was up to. Everybody knew how the Def Jam was being. Everybody knew what all these executives were doing. And they didn't say ish about Russell Simmons. Why? Because they didn't have to. Because Russell Simmons ran. And they just quietly made it to go away. They didn't care about what happened with Russell Simmons. They didn't care about what happened with Diddy. They didn't care about not Diddy. They didn't care about anything Russell Simmons was doing. They laughed at the abusers. They laughed at Drew Dixon. Haha, you ain't getting. They did everything they could. Nobody went down in rap or the music industry because of the Me Too movement. No one went down. No one. Russell Simmons is still a free man. He's still a rich man. He owns a whole resort in Bali. This narrative that, they tried to take people down. What are you talking about? Nobody went down in the Me Too movement in the hip hop industry. That was all white Hollywood. All of it. Give me one person, I'll look in the comments, that went down because of the Me Too movement. That was all white Hollywood. Not one person in the hip hop world or in music went down because of the Me Too movement. This is a hip hop's Me Too movement. And don't even say R. Kelly, because R. Kelly was way before Me Too. He was literally doing disgusting things to youngins for years. That was even before. That had nothing to do with the Me Too movement. So Drew Dixon was a pioneer. She was super, super brave for what she did. Nobody gave a damn about the Me Too movement in hip hop. They were laughed at. They were outcast. They were blackballed. The people that spoke up, every single woman that spoke up. Nothing happened to anybody in hip hop over the Me Too movement. So the thing is, when they first saw Diddy-like behavior, which was Russell Simmons, they didn't care. They were fine to laugh and push it to the side. And now, when it's Diddy, everybody wants to act so horrified. But people still support Russell Simmons, including Usher, which makes me think, I don't know. Usher moves really, really strange. We'll see. Everything will come out in the lawsuit, but Usher moves really, really strange. And when he did that mess with Russell Simmons, and you didn't have to, and you did it without any problem, it was just weird. It was weird. It was weird. It was weird. So maybe it was Usher. He's super high profile. Super high profile. His profile is actually higher than Diddy's in that Vegas residency. Vern, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Also, Victoria Ada Harpenting. You said, Tisa, love you, darling. I love you too, darling. Vern, thank you. Vern, and thank you for being a member of the Tattled House family for 6 months. I appreciate you. I love you. I do. Miranda Lynn, thank you so much for becoming a member. And DJ, what's up, DJ J 1913 said wrestling over. Yeah, they was high wrestling off of those frosted flakes. I know that's right. Seventh Dimension said, Usher, Atlanta man and women sued him for STD, gave JB to Diddy, Stockholm, so many years, so many victims. I get that, but he's grown now. And when you start handing people over, if he is, we don't know. I don't know. I just know that the way he moves, he went out of his way to show support and love to Russell Simmons when he got that residency out of the blue. And he could have just snuck in there and back. He posted an Instagram to let us know, this is where I stand. And Russell was the original Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Like Kim Marie Norman said, the industry is so phony and full opportunists. Exactly. phony opportunists, but people that are willing to look the other way for some money. The only reason that the industry is even holding Diddy accountable is because social media wouldn't let it go at all. At all. Victoria Alder Harpending said, Tisa, the white community did a big eye roll too. Exactly. Exactly. So this whole thing about the Me Too movement, like, what is that? Like, I feel like people did, like, we lived in alternate realities. I remember sitting and watching what happened at the Me Too movement. I remember sitting and watching what happened in the Me Too movement. And I remember watching what happened to the girls in the music industry that spoke out. And also the women in the entertainment industry. I remember what happened. That's why when people are revisiting, I'm like, what are y'all talking about? We were all alive at that point. Erica Kane, thank you so much for being a YouTube member, Erica. Again, Victoria, and thank you for being a member for 5 months. That whole thing about the big eye roll, I agree with you. It's like, we're not talking about stuff that happened in 1998 or 1997 where some of us might have been 10 years old, 20 years old, 50 years old. No, we're talking about things that just actually happened in what, 2016, whenever it happened. But in the last 10 years, we were all old enough to remember. Mika says, hey, Tisa, thanks to Ash. Oh, thank you, Mika. And thank you, Ash. Thanks to Ash, I'm a member of Blessing. There is still good people. Tisa, you have have you seen Bay's IG page lately? She's getting so much backlash. I'm here for it. It's about time all these weirdos got locked up. Let me tell you something. Whoever's doing dirt needs to be held accountable. I'm actually looking to see who starts pushing back on the narrative. I feel like it's reached max capacity that some people that are staying quiet, they actually have to come out and do something to protect their own reputation. Like, the rumors have left like little whatever, and they're now in mainstream. I know Jay-Z's trying to get that casino approved in Midtown. You can't have rumors like this going around. And even if they, like, it's just, I don't know. This whole stay quiet thing, and I don't know. But you know what, Mika? What's going to come out is going to be very, very interesting. I think the one person that might take everybody down is Diddy. Whoever it was doing wrong with them, Diddy's going to rat on them. Diddy is going to rat on them. Oh my God, Ash. Ash, thank you for gifting 10 more memberships. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Ash. You were up to 55 memberships. Yo, Ash, thank you so much. Also, Julie B, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. Ooh, I love that. There's a whole bunch of new members. I'm gonna have to do something members only to welcome everybody. Ash has like made it so people gonna be like, so what y'all be doing around here? I'm gonna have to do a members only live where I'm juggling and like doing like a thing with fire. Like, I'm gonna have to do a members only live, a member and entertain y'all. Thank you so much, Julie B. and Ash. Thank you so much. Renee Frazier said, thank you for being a member for 4 months. And you said, so happy to end the day working. Oh, at an animal hospital, watching my nightly news with Tisa. You're amazing. Oh, thank you. And Renee, thank you for what you do. People that work with animals truly are like such beautiful, beautiful souls. Like, you really are. Thank you so much. Well, people that take care of anybody sick, nurses, 100%, doctors, PAs, but shout out to the vets, the vet assistants, and everybody that works in animal hospitals. Y'all truly do the thing. Let me jump into these comments really quickly, right? Let's see. Abstract Oracle said, you got to post it afterwards for those of us who can't afford a membership. You know what? When I reach 500K, we are going to have a membership party. We're going to do it members only, and then we'll open it up to everybody, but we're going to have a party. Don't make me start literally, y'all going to see me set myself on fire. Like when you go to certain things, the girls with the fire come out through the restaurant and be like, "Ooh," and be doing like all their fire stuff and like, winding with the flames over their head. Y'all gonna see me try to do that and just be like, oh, the last thing y'all gonna see is a bunch of curly hair going, ah! Literally, that's the last thing y'all gonna see. Just the hair on fire as I fall to the floor. That's the last thing y'all gonna see. Hold on, y'all. Really quick. Hold on. Let's see. Victoria Auding said, Tisa, I believe Fat Joe's video businesses is going to blow it all up. Listen, at this point, it just really is a game of who and who done it. You might be right. this is okay, and I'm really interested to see who the feds are going to pull in with this. But in the meantime, I agree with you. We can look at the pictures over the years. I'll say this thing: if you went to Diddy parties once or twice, I'll be fair. If you went to Diddy party, if we see you over 2 decades pictured at Diddy's parties once or twice, we might get you might get a pass. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, you went once or twice. It was a white party. You could have been the Denzels that left before the devil came in. But if we see you consistently in those pictures, like I said, yearbook, class of 98, 99, 2000, 2005, class of 2015, 16, 17, 18. Nah, you got some explaining to do. I'm actually going to do a thing where we actually look through the pictures and see who actually was in that piece on a regular basis. You were like, you were there on a regular basis. Flawless Pearl, thank you so much for becoming a member. Also, Tamika McMillan, thank you so much for becoming a member. And Cat Girl 226, what's up, girl? Said, still picturing Diddy dancing the conga in the South. Come on, baby, do the conga. Any longer, feel the music. Any longer, dun, dun, dun. That's what Diddy gonna be doing. That's what Diddy's doing right now, literally. And you know what? You think Diddy is trying to reenact season 1 of Making of the Band with the roaches and rats? Yo, you better get out there. He's sending them to get some cheesecake from Junior's. Diddy did a cell reenacting the Making of the Band, season 1, sending them to get him some cheesecake from Junior's. You know he hungry. You know that stuff is going. Wait, what am I saying? I'm thinking too small. Diddy is reenacting season 1 of Making of the Band, but instead of cheesecake from Junior's, he's sending them to get some Tucci from 42nd Street. Diddy sending all the rats and roaches. He reenacting Making of the Band. And he probably telling one rat they too fat, like the way he used to tell Danny Kane they too fat, yelling at them, telling them to walk to 47th Street and get him some Tucci. What Diddy's doing. That's exactly what Diddy doing. Yeah, I did that. Now that is something we need to talk about. They let it be known that cheesecake that they sent them to get was really for Beyonce. And I said, can I hear the end of the story? Because what was Beyonce doing at Diddy's hotel? Was she working on new music? Did Beyonce and Diddy ever come out with a song together? What was Beyonce doing there? And the thing is, back then, Destiny's Child was big, but Diddy was bigger. How come we didn't see them on camera? How come we didn't see them filming? How come we didn't see them do anything? Now that I wanted to hear the end of that story. Wait. What you mean Beyonce was there? Beyonce was there doing what? With who? It better have been in the studio. But then again, I was like, what track did they work on? I don't know. That was weird. That was weird. Somebody said, Robin, thank you so much for the super chat. Arlene 5-star said, I don't think Junior's delivers to the commissary. I don't think so either. But he told them to march their little cricket cells over the Brooklyn Bridge, go to Junior and come back with cheesecake. We're going to see like an army of rats just like scurrying with cheesecake with some Tucci. But then again, Diddy quietly requesting Tucci. If he can get some cheesecake, he probably going to tell them to put some Tucci in it. Listen. Let's get into this. Oh, Whit Deer and Water said, it's not who's going down next, who is moving up. 500K plus immigrants, kids missing. Whose party are they for? This is the last thing I'm going to say before I go. I believe that all these missing, y'all don't think I'm crazy, but I think that that all these people are going missing because they're being used for bioidentical pharmaceuticals. I'm not joking. See, here's the thing. I feel like they are SMEC slaves or something like that. I feel like how many people can you murk in a year? I'm being serious. But and also it's like you would keep keeping them, like kind of like slavery, right? Yeah, slaves died, but like you still kept them going, and make no mistakes, in slavery, that stuff happened too. Definitely the SMEC slave, and like that 100% happened, even on more crazy levels. But even then, like they would whatever. My thing is, how now the new thing with especially people that are affluent, to wealthy, right? So not middle class, but like affluent to wealthy. Everybody's obsessed with looking young. Everybody's obsessed with never aging. You see a lot of human growth hormone, testosterone, estrogen. Before it was all synthetic, right? And a bunch of other like chemicals and hormones that our body needs, that when you're young, you make it naturally. And as you get older, every year it's less and less and less. But if you can tap into that and get that into your body again, it literally is the fountain of youth. Skin tighten up, booty get firm, skin starts getting supple and bounce a penny off your booty, like whatever it is. But here's the thing. Now these new designer things, the new thing isn't synthetic anymore. The new thing is bioidentical estrogen, bioidentical testosterone, bioidentical human growth hormone. And when you hear bioidentical, you're like, but where are you getting it from? Because there ain't that many monkeys in the world. I'm talking about actual monkeys. Shut up. Don't get me demonetized. There ain't that many chimpanzees in the world. There ain't that many rats in the world. And it's like, and what animal is so bioidentical to us that we can take their estrogen and put it in our body and your body thinks it's real estrogen? Now, they always say, oh, well, it's trade secret. It comes from here, here, here. But I said, if something is bioidentical human growth hormone, estrogen, testosterone, all this for injection, not the stuff you buy from G&Z, but the stuff that is actually like human growth hormone is like 20 or 30,000 a month for the injections, for the really good human growth hormone. Same thing for bioidentical estrogen, 10, 15,000 a month. Where are you getting these bioidentical substances that are only made in the human body? Because they need to be bioidentical for your human body to take them. Now, you could say we got it from a rat, a sheep, a goat. Okay, but where's all these goats? Because this is the thing. If I take away your human growth hormone, I have to murk you. And I get enough human growth hormone that might last me for what, 2 weeks? But after that, I need more human growth hormone. Because just like estrogen and testosterone and all these other things, you have to keep supplying the body. It's not like you get one estrogen when you're born and lasts you for your life. It cycles through the body. Hence, when you start losing it and when your body can't produce anymore, you start aging again. So it made me think that people that are super, super wealthy, they will do it. You see it with the way everybody's face is chopped and screwed. They will do anything to stay young forever. But more importantly, they are living their heaven on earth. They run this earth. They have immeasurable power. Now, you could argue they did things for their power, right? You can argue they did things for their power, and maybe they're afraid to die. Maybe they don't want to die because who wants to die? Maybe they don't want to die because they don't want to leave their power alone. Maybe they don't want to die because they've done so many things to get the power. They don't want to, they believe in the afterlife and they don't want to see it. Their heaven is right here, right? Whatever the reason is, these people that are selling bioidentical human hormones, it is something that needs to be replenished also. It is something that, again, I get it. Oh, well, you're getting it from sheep. Okay, but how are you breeding this much sheep to take the human growth hormone and the testosterone and the estrogen out? Because when you take it, it's going to kill them. You can't just take somebody's human growth hormone, because the person that's there is like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? The adrenaline, all these chemicals that or substances that the human hormones, everything that the human body makes that can be performance enhancing. It can enhance our brain. If you eat it, it might stop Alzheimer's. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but I'm not going to get into it because I don't feel like getting into the readings. But I know it sounds really conspiracy theory, but the more I think about it, I think that that's why all these people are going missing, because this is where this new thing of the fountain of youth and bioidentical hormones, chemicals, substances that we neuroregulators, progesterone, estrogen, what is it? The neurotopics. All these things are like, oh my God, these are so expensive, but it really is. It'll make you superhuman. Where the F are we getting it from? And I know y'all saying, oh, it's this. Yeah, I know. I read those papers too. The reason why that stuff never took off in the past is because the chemicals, they're not They're not bioidentical. And your body knows when you're feeding it. Just like if you take fake vitamin C, like the whole thing of like emergency, you could take 5 packets of those. Ask how much of your body of vitamin C your body's going to absorb, as opposed to you just eating one orange. Your body will always absorb what is natural, and your body will always absorb what is bioidentical, even when it comes to fertility treatments. Like, anyway, the point of the matter is, I know that sounds like really conspiracy theory, but it's the only thing that makes sense, because I'm like, there's not a need for disposing of that many bodies if they were just SMEC slaves. The turnover rate is way bigger than probably even it was in slavery. So I'm like, what would you need from a human being? And what would you need to keep extracting that would probably murk the person, but you would keep needing a continuous supply? And just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. It's a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but just hear me out. And young people, the younger you are, the better your supply. And when you think about the fact of why it is predominantly maybe Black children, well, if you know, especially when it comes to Black women, we are the genetic blueprint. A Black woman can make any race in the world. We are the blueprint for humanity. It's in our DNA, right? We are the blueprint for humanity. So if you think about it, if we are the blueprint of humanity and a lot of Black women disproportionately go missing, you think about it, if they extract chemicals and hormones and all this other stuff. I know this sounds so crazy, but this is what I was thinking about the other day. We're friends, okay? I can think, but I'm just rambling, okay? Take it with a grain of salt. But if we are the genetic blueprint, or even if that's not the case, you would think about it like with blood donations. If your gene code can assimilate to other gene codes very easily, I mean, there might be something there. But regardless, I think there's something going on more than SMEC slavery. I really do. And what that is, I don't know. But I think that these people are being taken for more than SMEC's slavery, including these 500 immigrant kids that are missing, as well as the hundreds of thousands of children that are missing in communities all over the US and around the world. That's my whole thing. I know. But listen, back to Dory Angel, you said, I hope Diddy does not end up with a Park Avenue cell like those inmates in Goodfellas. He is not going to end up in Park Avenue cell. I'll tell you that much. Mel Bessel said, Tisa, you're too funny. Did you hear about the new lawsuit accusing Diddy of rugging, impregnating a woman? And she said she had a bite mark on her heel. That he is a weirdo. We're going to get into that. I'm going to catch up on the news. I know I've been slow turning around, but I'm going to get up on it. Coach Cryptic said, let's not forget about K. Dot, LaCria, Cat Williams, and 50 have been saying this. They admit their faults and change. Diddy ain't like this. Exactly, Coach. Exactly. You got it. Also, we got Robin Marcus said, why is nobody talking about the chef that sued Diddy for sexual harassment like 2 years ago? I'll repost some stuff. We talked about her early in the case. Diddy actually settled with her, but we talked about that early in the case. She actually said, and nobody believed her when she said Diddy was basically making her serve him during freak-offs. Ooh, you know what? Let's bring that up for an oldie but goodie. I'm making my list. I'm gonna be cooking this weekend. I'm really getting to work. The chef is a good one. That is actually a good one. The chef. Okay. Serving Diddy at the freak-offs. Now, Barnett, we didn't know a couple of years ago she was talking about freak-offs, but she was literally saying that she had to serve him like she was naked. How crazy is it that you're describing what you had to go through and people are laughing at you and saying, oh, whatever, you lying, you just want money. Yeah, good point, Victoria, good point. Also, Victoria said, Tisa, you're getting IG hot, DOD, DOT, they have records to search. Okay. Mikkel, what's up, Mikkel? Said, on fire. What's up? Coach Cryptic said, Diddy was put in the culture and set up as an idol. He was. I believe that. He was, because he was. Which is why what Kendrick is saying is so thing about taking the culture back. He was set up to serve a purpose, and they let him run amok. which is why we need to take it back. But that's another conversation. Karina C, thank you so much for becoming a YouTube member. Mel Bethel said they said the boyd hormones are lab produced from plants, but I don't buy it either, TD. Why do you think they work so well? Exactly. That's another thing. Lab produced from plants, maybe, but they've tried that before. You know what? That's a whole different conversation, because remember that lawsuit where they were saying, oh, this is completely, and then they found out they were getting it from embryos. And this isn't any conspiracy stuff. You can Google the case. Lab produced from plants. There is not something bioidentical in human growth hormone you can get lab produced from plants. And even when you talk about estrogen, when you're saying lab produced in plants, there's two types of estrogen. There's a type of estrogen that is fat, which is why, like, just like there's two types of amino acids, which is why sometimes vegetarians have a really hard time meeting their nutrition needs. Two different types of amino acids. Some you find in plants or algae, but it's not the complete one. There's certain type of amino acids that you only find in the flesh, by consuming animal products, no matter what they say. And you can find it maybe in like krill oil, which are the microscopic fish, but that's still a living being. There's a certain amino acid you only find, and we need 9 to 13 essential. Same thing with estrogen. There's two types of estrogen. One is derived by plants. Yes, it is good in some instances, but it's not a complete estrogen. Your body, for it to be bioidentical, it has to have both types of estrogen in it. But yeah, I hear that, right? Dogman said androchromone is only available in the youth. Exactly. And again, I'm not getting into like conspiracy stuff. I'm just saying maybe I'm wrong. Here's the thing, y'all, just hear me out. Maybe I'm wrong in my, because it's a hypothesis. I don't have any proof. I'm literally just talking. But I literally kept thinking, what could a human supply that you would need a constant new rotation of? I think it's more than SMEX. Now, is it what I said? I don't know. I'm literally just talking. I don't have any proof. I was going through, this is how I think about stuff. What could it be? What could it be? What could it be? But I would like someone to tell me literally what could it be, because the number of people missing and the way that we haven't been able to find, but like, where are these people going? Where are they going? Where are they? That much SMEX in the world. Even if you had SMEX every single day, 20 times a day, there is not that much need in the world. Like, where is this turnover going? That's all I'm saying. Mel Bethel said 100% TT, the oldest human remains were found in Africa. They called her the African Eve. Exactly. A Black woman can make every single race. Every race descends from that. Isaiah Gutierrez said Peacock has a great Menudo doc. Highly recommend it. You know what? And on that, you guys, make sure y'all watch the Menudo doc, because Ryan Murphy is a sicko for what he did to the Menendez brothers. How do you romanticize Jeffrey Dahmer, but then skip over all the evidence of the Menendez brothers? You know, as we age, thank you so much for the super sticker. Thank you so much for the super sticker, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hundreds of thousands of people disappear all over the world every single, well, maybe not hundreds of that, but tens of thousands of people disappear all over the world every single day. There are 365 days in the year. Where are all these kids going? It's like, again, I'm not saying I have the answers. Again, that was just something that I was thinking about the other day when I was talking to my girlfriend, like, yo, what could it be? But we need something that's beyond SMEX trafficking, that you would need a human for, and you would need a constant replenishment of human resources. Because if it was only about SMEX trafficking, the cost of disposing of somebody that got murked from the cost alone, it is in your interest to actually keep them like and keep them like fed and watered. Again, I know it sounds sick, but it just doesn't make sense that you would keep taking the risk of grabbing new people, you still have to hold them. You still have to feed them for that time. You still have to get more. And you have to bury. So it's like, I know this is like more press, but it's like, what could possibly going on that demands a constant new replenishment? Almost like it's milk. Like every 2 weeks, you gotta get a new bottle of milk. That does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. But again, I don't know what makes sense. I just was trying to fill in the blanks. But let me know your theories in the comments. Maybe again, I'm not saying I'm right. It's just a speculation theory hypothesis, right? And you guys make sure that you watch the Menudo doc. As we age, thank you so much for the super sticker. Catgirl226 says, now I'm side-eyeing my menopause estrogen patches. Don't. I think, well, most likely it's synthetic, but that's why with synthetic menopause estrogen, there's so many like side effects to it because it's usually synthetic estrogen. Synthetic estrogen is the one that gives all these crazy side effects, just like synthetic testosterone is. They still give it, and that's probably why it's so affordable because bioidentical estrogen is so expensive. Bioidentical testosterone, human growth hormone, bioidentical adrenaline, it's so expensive. But if you take it, it will really turn you into a superhuman. You know what I'm saying? Um, Francesca Manning, thank you so much for the super sticker. And also Brandy Denari, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really appreciate it. Anyway, you guys, listen, let me get out of here. Y'all don't need to hear any more of like I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying that like, that's the way I discover stuff. I'm like, okay, what's going on? What are the possibilities of what it could be? Doesn't mean it has to happen, but go out of your mind. What could possibly be happening? And then once you get a list of everything that could possibly be happening, then you can start going through and being like, okay, what makes sense? Like, oh, they're building a child army of zombies to take over the US. Okay, maybe, but most likely not. So cross that off the list. But you know, the whole thing, once you eliminate everything, whatever remains, no matter how crazy, to quote Sherlock Holmes, no matter how unbelievable, well, that has to be what it is. So again, I don't know what it is, but there's something more than sex trafficking going on. Also, Gigi Set, thank you so much for becoming a member. You guys, listen, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much for looking out. I'm going to jump on everything today and start getting more on top of the Diddy stuff. I will see. Oh, also, I'm gonna repost a live I did about Shine and Diddy's connections to Belize to actually wrap in the money laundering. Okay, I know we didn't get a chance to talk about it today, but it's been 2 hours. Sorry, I got sidetracked talking about human growth hormone. But I'm gonna post a live I did with Shine with stuff from Belize, the money laundering, and what actually is really going on over there. Okay. Also, Nikki said, stayed up is 2:45 Scotland time. Evening, governor. Oh, wait, no. Aye, laddie. Aye, lassie. Thank you, Nikki. And also, Mel Bethany said, thanks, TT. Have a great night. You too, Mel. Thanks to everybody. And I will 100% talk to you later. But the money laundering, I'm going to post in a separate live, a repost. I'll post it right after this. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh, and